Blood, arson and political turmoil. This was the weekly highlight of the island nation Sri Lanka. While the anti-government protests snowballed into violent clashes that culminated with several deaths and burning down of houses of members of parliament, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa appointed five-time Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe back to chair after his brother Mahinda Rajapaksa tendered resignation owing to public pressure shooting up to unprecedented levels. However, the move seems to have failed to bring tempers under control as people are still demanding the change in the government.
The peaceful demonstrations in Sri Lanka nosedived into an unprecedented situation of violence and chaos as mobs set several houses of members of parliament on fire this week. The demonstrators have been demanding a change in the political leadership of the country as the island nation is going through one of its toughest economic situations in its history. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was forced to vacate his chair after the dissent and anger didn't calm down. Five-time Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has been reappointed to the chair.
I have taken on a challenge of uplifting the economy and I must fulfill it.
Experts say Wickremesinghe, a political veteran who has been Prime Minister of the island nation 5 times before, must try to address financial chaos and heal political divisions as he sets out to form a coalition government. Opposition leaders, however, have criticized the appointment of Wickremesinghe as Sri Lanka's Prime Minister. They said this was a move to pacify the protesters and not an attempt to pull the country out of massive economic crisis.
මේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ හැමදාමත් මේ රාජපක්ෂ පවුලේ ගැලුම් කරු. ඔහු බලය ලබා ගන්නේම ඔවුන්ගේ ආරක්ෂාව වෙනුවෙන්. ඒ වගේම රාජපක්ෂලත් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ ආරක්ෂකයෙක්. ඒක තමයි පහුගිය අවුරුදු දෙකමාරක් ඇතුළත අපි පෙන්눔 කරමින් තිබෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has called nationwide curfews and given security forces sweeping powers to shoot anyone involved in looting or putting people's lives at risk. Though international bodies have urged the island leadership to withdraw such calls, the Sri Lankan authorities say they have taken the decision in the interest of citizens' lives. Economic mismanagement, the COVID-19 pandemic and rising energy costs following Russia's invasion of Ukraine have drained state coffers, meaning Sri Lanka is running low on fuel and essential medicines and facing daily power blackouts. Vendors and people at the lower economic strata, however, have complained that they have been affected the most by the curfew.
තත්ත්වය අපිට දැන් භයානක පැත්තක අපි ලඟ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි දැන් ඇඳිරි දාලා අපි දැන් පවුදස්ටේ ඇඳිරි දැම්මා. අපිට හතපාකත් හොයා ගන්න හම්බුනේ නැහැ. අපිට මොකද අද අපිට ආධාර උපකාර කරෙත් නැහැ. ගෝල් පෙසිල තමයි කැමෙල කියලා ගෙනලා කෑවේ. අදත් දැන් බාගට ඇඳිරි තී දානවා. ඒතර දැන් අපි දැන් මේ වෙලඳාම කරගන්න විදිහකුත් නැහැ.
The curfew, which was imposed a few weeks back but was lifted after severe domestic and international criticism, was reimposed earlier in the week after the protesting mob went out of control and became involved in arson and vandalism. Apart from members of parliament, people also attacked Mahinda Rajapaksa's home. Their primary demand has been a change in power, as they say this government has lost its moral authority to rule the country. Talks with countries or bodies that can bail Sri Lanka out of the crisis are ongoing, but as of now, there appears no immediate solution. Some also believe that this crisis is yet to reach its peak and people will be further affected. They say it may take years and not months for Sri Lanka, a tourism-reliant country, to recover the losses they have incurred so far. In such a scenario where there is not any light appearing at the end of the tunnel, people have nothing but to sit in optimism and expect a change in situation and their fortunes.